we got a lot of people again who want to talk to us, Rich. I think maybe more so in your field than that last call,
Ooh.
but we'll see. We'll see. Let's talk about I want to talk to Coyote Boy. I'm going to talk to Coyote Boy calling in from Texas. I love the handle, Coyote Boy. Thanks so much for calling in to Truth Wanted. You are live. How can we help?
Hey, Dan. Hey, Professor Richard. Yeah, Coyote Boy. That's my Blue Healer's nickname. So I just go with that. So I'll try to steer this back around to the topic, which is emotion. I took a
Yeah.
really interesting course of decades ago, 45 years ago, in college. One of the segments was philosophy and emotion. And like every philosophy course ever taught, it raised a lot of questions and provided no real answers. But I wanted to ask Professor Richard, how many emotions are there? Because it's like, you remember when the term family values came up and nobody could tell you what those were? What's the
Yeah.
difference between family values and just values? So I mean, we all get the big ones. We all get fear, love, joy, hate. But is frustration an emotion? Is boredom an emotion? Where do we draw the line between emotion and just how you're feeling?
Ooh, good question.
Oh, well, I'm going to figure this out, and then I'll tell you what. You can have 10% of my Nobel Prize. We don't really know. uh, make it 2%. No. That's a big question. There used to be a belief, there still is amongst a lot of people, particularly people working on artificial emotions in robots and AI and things, that there are 6 basic emotions. Here I am on the spot trying to remember what they are. They are happiness, sadness, fear, disgust, surprise, and did I say discussed already? Anyway, there are 6.
Yeah.
And you'll know them if you've seen Inside Out by Disney, you'll know 5 of them because that's what they used. And it's very old science. And it reckons that all humans have them because they did a bunch of studies in America and Japan. Then they went to Papua New Guinea and found a tribe. And apparently, we all pull the same faces. It's since been shown to be mostly wrong, including the guy who did the original study. He now thinks there are 14
hmm
basic emotions.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and other people have got their own lists of basic emotions. And some people have got lists of things that are like basic emotions, but they give them fancy names like prototypical affective states, but basically the basic emotions. And they will say that things like play are an emotion. So, really, what are the emotions is like family values, I'm afraid. It's everybody has their own list and everybody puts their own things in the box. Um, I personally think that anything that you yourself think is an emotion, think is something that affects you and affects your day to day life and the way you go about things is an emotion. But
hmm
I also think the difference between emotions and kind of moods is the length of time because a mood can last weeks, days, months, whereas an emotion tends to be something that comes and then goes after a little while. It's quite a quick thing. It comes, it goes, it comes and goes. So if there is any difference between emotions and other things, it's the amount of time you have them for. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I get that. So emotions
Yep.
are an event. They are spontaneous.
Yes.
They come and
Yes.
go, as
They-
opposed to just kind of where you are. Now I have one. I want to get this in. I have one further question from this course, which again I'm going back for a long time. I think it was William James, and you'll know about this,
oh,
who
yeah.
said the thing that happens first is the brain excitation, and then we put a label on it. We label it love, hate, fear, anger, etc. Do you know about that?
Yeah, yeah. William James. It's very interesting. Oh, here we go. Sorry about this. For a long time, for a long time, there's this idea called faculty psychology, and it's the idea is that there's a pathway for this emotion, there's a pathway for that emotion, and there's a bit of the brain for this emotion, the bit of the brain for that emotion, and that has been quite the mainstream view until about 10, 15 years ago. Started to move in the late 90s, but it's becoming, and now we have this idea that comes from William James, really, and it's the idea of something called constructed psychology. And it's that when you have an emotion, all the bits of your brain do something. So there's a bit that releases a chemical, so you feel something bodily, the bit we recognize. Then you remember something last time you felt that, which guides you as to whether it is what that feeling is, and then you look at your context and you decide how you're going to react in this context and what the feeling is, and lots of other things happen in the brain all at once, and that's a construction, and that's what the emotion is. And so basically what that is saying is that you feel it and you label it all at once. There's not this and then that. So it's kind of like William James, but quicker, if you like, more instant. William James was
Good.
he was
Good.
kind of the early pioneer in this sort of thing. But yeah, we've come back round to some of his ways of
gave it a lot of
thinking.
effort. And by the way, in parting, there are not grasshoppers on fucking Mars. Okay, there's just not. There's just not.
Listen.
I'm not buying that.
Oh,
I'm not
I like-
going there.
I haven't reviewed the evidence. Okay, I said I would. I didn't. I didn't realize he posted. So I will review. I'm actually not going to be on the show next week, but I'll give it a fair shake. I guess what I'm looking at right now though is I'm not buying it. I just don't see it. But hey, if they're there, how cool would it be if I get to break the news to you guys? If I was like, hey, actually, I'm a believer.
Dan, you brought up The Martian, which is a fantastic novel. Movie's good, novel's even better. No, at 0.38% gravity and 40 below zero at night, no, insects would freeze at that temperature. So
listen,
I'm not.
Coyote Boy, you said it, not me. Okay, you said it, not me. I'm just saying.
Okay.
You know,
I will.
But,
I will buy you a fried grasshopper if I'm wrong.
Okay,
gentlemen,
I may or may not take you up on that. I don't know.
Oh, they're delicious. They are delicious. Trust me.
And Professor Richard, I wish I could take a course with you. I would love to be in class with you as my professor.
Oh, thank you very much. That's so
well,
nice.
actually, that's what Richard's here to do today. He's here to recruit you for his new online. No, I'm just kidding. That'd be crazy if we did a
my
plug like
online
that. No,
army of emotives.
Yeah, right. If this was just one giant plug.
I fall asleep every night. Listening to audiobooks about science, and I would not make a good scientist, but I certainly love learning about it. Gentlemen, I'll let you go. Take another call. Thank you for taking my call.
Cool. Thank you so much, Coyote Boy. I will say you do have an audiobook version of your book. So
I do. That I did myself. It's some of the hardest work I've ever done.
I'm plugging for you tonight, dude. That's crazy. But yeah, like it is the opinions of the host do not necessarily reflect that of the ACA. That being said, I think you should check out the book. I think it's cool.